Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to start now. All right, so just let me make sure everything's set up. Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Milana, and I'm the product specialist here at MotiveWave.com. And welcome to our introduction to MotiveWave webinar. First of all, I'd like to thank Eric and the Cyber Trading University team for having us out today. And I'd like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule, especially being that we're in the summer holidays. Today's webinar will be recorded. It'll be approximately 45 minutes to an hour. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. It is being monitored. As well, if you have any questions that you want to ask at the end, if we have time, we can go ahead and address them at that time as well. A bit of history. MotiveWave was founded in 2010. We're a well-established developer of easy-to-use, full-featured charting, analysis, and trading software built for the individual trader. MotiveWave has very advanced charting and drawing tools that are highly customizable and yet still easy to use, and also specializes in advanced analysis tools like Elliott Wave, Fibonacci, Gartley, Gann, and ratio analysis. MotiveWave has all the features and more that you would expect in a professional standalone trading platform, including scanners, strategy trading, backtesting, optimization, replay mode, and trade simulation. As a product specialist, I often get asked, why should I use MotiveWave, or what are your best features? And being that MotiveWave is a very robust and feature-rich platform, in answering the question, I put together a list of what I feel to be MotiveWave's top 10 features. Now, these are not in a order in which to say that this is the number one reason, this is the number two reason, the number three reason. What I did is I placed them in an order I felt would build upon each subsequent feature. That way, as we go through it, you get a better idea of how the interface works and how easy it is to use MotiveWave. A few things. This is meant to be like a high-level overview. I'm not getting too much detail because of the time restraints, but by the end of it, you should have a very good idea as to whether or not you want to purchase or at least try MotiveWave for free and see how it can help you with your everyday trading and analytics. So a top feature of MotiveWave is cross-platform support. I do get this a lot from people that try our platform. A lot of them are very happy for the fact that MotiveWave does run natively on both Windows and Mac desktop computers. I know there are some platforms out there that are web-based, but as a desktop application, they tend to be more robust. And of the ones out there, I would say MotiveWave is one of the few, a handful, that runs natively on Mac computers as well. You do not need any virtualization software such as Parallels. However, if you do have virtualization software, you can also run it on a Mac. And there are some reasons for that. One reason being if you have all your other trading platforms software that you require Windows for, but you have a Mac-based computer, then you would be running Parallels anyways, and it might make sense to run MotiveWave in Windows. As well, there is one or two brokers that we do support that do not provide a connector on the Mac side of things. So if those happen to be your broker, then you will most likely use MotiveWave in a virtualized environment. The current licensing with MotiveWave is we do not have any monthly fees. MotiveWave is a lifetime license, which means you can install MotiveWave on as many computers as you like. The only restriction is you can only use it on one computer at a time. However, having said that, you can run MotiveWave on the same computer more than once. And what I mean by that is depending on what version of MotiveWave you're using, you may want to connect to different brokers, for example. If you're trading equities, you may use one particular broker. If you're trading currencies, you may be using another broker. So in that case, you can have MotiveWave running twice. Or if you're using the Professional or Ultimate Edition, as I am showing you here in today's presentation, then you don't need to run it twice on your computer. You can actually have it running once, one workspace with two connections. So let me show you just really quickly some of the different versions that we have. So we're going to go to Products, Compare Editions. Another great feature of MotiveWave is the fact, or part of this feature is the fact that typically with other platforms, they offer maybe 2-3 variations at most. So depending where you fall on the trader scale as far as experience and needs and requirements, MotiveWave, I think, is very comprehensive in providing you different options. As you can see, we have 6 different options here, and each edition builds on the previous one. Therefore, this one is going to have a few more features than the charts package. The trade's going to have a few more features than charts plus, and on it goes right up to the ultimate, which includes everything. So you take a look at your leisure if you'd like. Take a look at the table or the matrix here, and you'll see what's included and what's not included with the specific versions. Let me go back here. Another feature of MotiveWave is the fact that it has a very modern interface. Being that it's programmed in Java, which allows it to be truly native cross-platform, it also avails us to the JavaFX library, which is a modern high-performance user-based interface as part of the Java package. This allows us to have a modern, fresh look. It also supports the newer 4K and high-resolution retina monitors. Many of the other packages are based on older technologies, and what ends up happening is they look dated, they're cumbersome to use, they're inconvenient, and some of them do not handle the new high-resolution monitors display functionality too well. So let's take a look at the interface. So when you first start MotiveWave, you'll be presented with this default layout. Now, right away, you'll notice that you'll have a chart open. Along the top, you're going to have a menu bar, which allows you to have access to all the functionality within MotiveWave. You'll be able to change symbols for the charts. You'll have a toolbar, which is highly customizable. The default toolbar here has the most often used functionality as icon shortcuts. Here we have some other shortcuts here as well to quickly display some panels. We have our main chart area. We have a trade panel. For navigation, as far as MotiveWave, you can always drag a chart by left-clicking left and right. You can also left-click on the timeline left to expand a chart and right to compress a chart. I know that seems elementary, but you would be surprised how many packages do not easily implement that. You either have to click on a bunch of arrows or find some menu somewhere to zoom in a certain factor. The way we look at it, it should be very simple. You want to zoom, you want to compress your chart, you click. You want to expand it, you click and scroll left. In regards to navigation, we have what's called the bird's eye view. And this allows you to go back any point in time by simply dragging a shaded area along the bird's eye view timeline. You can also go to a specific date via the calendar picker. You can see a specific time span by selecting, for instance, 1 week or 1 month or anything else that you find as a desired time frame. We have some bar time frames here. This is customizable, so you can show which ones you want, which ones you don't. You can add ones that are not there. We'll get into that later. We also have a watch list here with some other panels, and we have buy and sell boxes. We have some pages here, and I'll get into how that's going to help with usability, and as well as a status bar showing connection status here in the bottom left, as well as the local time. So MotiveWave integrates seamlessly with over 25 brokers, data providers, and more being added. This is another feature that customers love. We are not a broker, and at the moment we don't have data, but data is something that we are considering. However, this, being the fact that we do connect to 25 brokers and different data providers, this allows you as a trader to choose a broker that best meets your trading style and requirements while allowing access to a set of powerful tools for trading and analysis. It allows the ability to maintain connections to multiple brokers and data services in a single workspace, and allows separate feed to complement present data. So let's hop over to our supported brokers. Here on our website, you'll find all our supported brokers. The one thing you want to keep in mind, actually 2 things you want to keep in mind, is the first thing is all these brokers here although on their native platform they may allow you access to all the different asset classes, they don't necessarily allow access via their API. So for instance, if we scroll down and see TD Ameritrade, you'll notice here that they give access to stocks and options, while their native platform may also provide access to futures. So that's one thing to keep in mind. This is not a restriction on MotiveWave's end, it's their API, and they have some technical reasons why they do that. The other thing you want to bear in mind is, for the most part, they are available on both platforms, but there is the odd one such as Gain, and there may be another one which does not have a connector on the Mac side, so you will be restricted to using it only on Windows. And this would be another reason why you may want to run it on your Mac in a virtualized environment if you do not have availability of a Mac-based connector. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, at the moment, I have a broker connected. And with MotiveWave, as I mentioned before, you can have multiple connections in a workspace. What this allows you to do is, for instance, in my case, I have a Forex broker connected here, but I don't have any access to any equity data. So what I can actually do is let me just exit. I can do it through the configure menu, but I'll just show it to you this way. Is add another feed to provide me with equities information. So we can go under options, we can go to workspaces, select the workspace, and right now my present workspace has only the broker, in this case Owanda, is my connection. So I would like to add another connection, and this is where all the supported brokers show, and it's just a matter of selecting equity. In my case, I'm looking for equity data, and I'm gonna just opt for the Google Yahoo because it's free. And although they officially stopped supporting it a few years ago, it is still a good option to some extent. We just can't guarantee how long it's going to be around, but for the moment it works. So we're going to add that. We're going to update the workspace. We're going to close. We're going to continue. We're going to connect to our FX broker. And I apologize for the bit of delay. Okay, so now, as you can see, that MotiveWave is loaded. And now if I want to pull up a chart, and let's say Apple, it's just a matter of pulling it up very easily. I want to change time frame, no problem. Click, very easy. Okay, let's go over some other features. So that's a great feature. People love it. Again, it gives you flexibility, which broker, as well as if you want to complement your data. If I had to say the number one feature in MotiveWave, I'd say this is close to the top, if not the top reason why people purchase MotiveWave. There are many reasons. I've selected 10, but of the 10, I would say this is, again, within the top 2 for sure. So Elliott Wave and Harmonics. MotiveWave is the market leader in ease of use for Elliott Wave analysis through the use of its Elliott Wave study, auto analyzer, scanner, and manual Elliott Wave plotting tools. Also, it is a leader in quickly identifying harmonic patterns with the harmonic study, or scan and watch list for harmonic patterns using the scanner. Let me show you how that works. Now, I'm not going to get into the complexities of Elliott Wave. I'm just going to show here the 5 different ways that we can actually apply Elliott Wave within MotiveWave. So I'm going to bring up a chart here. Let's go with the dollar yen. I'm going to select daily. And I'm just going to hide this panel for now. So the first way we can use Elliott Wave or make our life easier in using Elliott Wave with MotiveWave is we can bring up a study, the Elliott Wave study, So we'll add the study. We will simply type in Elliott. Our results will come back. We'll select the Elliott wave. Now the options here, typically with Elliott wave or any analysis, you have to start some sort of starting point. And here you have the choice of picking a fixed date or a bar look back period. We're going to go with a bar look back period because that's the default. And we can also pick decompose levels if we wanted to. In this case, I'll select 2. We'll create the study. And now MotiveWave returns its results. Like any other study, the Elliott wave study, you can't go in here and start changing things only because, I mean, you can change the parameters. You can go back here, and if you just want to, add more bars or decompose, fine. But as far as changing the points, this works like any other study. It's calculated on the data coming in. Therefore, it's dynamic. So any new data that comes into MotiveWave from your feed, your broker's feed, can and will change the wave count, and that will be done automatically. So of the 5 ways, this is really the only dynamic one where it changes as new data comes in. There are some other ways, mainly the auto analyzer, the auto wave, and the scanner, which are static. The manual tools are static as well, and I'll just go through them here. So let's just remove this here. And now let's bring up the auto analyzer, which can be done through clicking on the auto analyze icon. Again, I'm going to leave the defaults here. I'm not going to pick a specific date. I'm just going to pick a bar look back period. I'm going to decompose 2 levels. Click OK. And now you'll notice that you get your results, but I can actually go in here, and if I wanted to, I can start moving some of these points if I don't agree with them, or if I think there's a better wave count, and I can make the adjustments accordingly. Now what this does is this opens up some of the functionality within MotiveWave. You'll notice now that if I select a point, I now have some other functionality available. For instance, I can show a channel, I can select a degree, I can do ratio analysis and some time analysis, as well as change some properties along with those wave counts. So now that was done with the auto analyzer. Let me show you how we can pick a data set. In that particular example, a data set was picked by the auto analyzer using a bar look back period. So in that case, I believe it was 250, no, it's 500 bars. So what we can do with the auto wave is the same idea, but being that Elliott wave, like much technical analysis, is a visual thing, you may take a look at a chart and say, well, actually, I want this significant high or low to be the starting point. In which case, you can use your mouse, drag it for your data set, and bang, it plots the wave count. And from here, you can decompose. Okay, again, you can, for instance, bring up some of the other functionality. You can do like a ratio analysis. Move that. You can also bring up time analysis. Okay, and this is where the Elliott wave framework would start kicking in. So as an Elliott wave tool, MotiveWave will save you tons and tons of time, and more importantly, it can help you find opportunities that you wouldn't have found on your own. The Elliott wave functionality in MotiveWave is based on the rules and guidelines as listed in this publication here, which is a recognized authority on Elliott wave theory, the Elliott wave principle by Frost and Prechter. So imagine trying to manually go through the guidelines and the rules as stipulated. It's a daunting task, and this is why for some people, it takes years to learn Elliott wave theory. MotiveWave can help in many respects that way to really automate things and find opportunities that you otherwise wouldn't find. Now, what else we can do with the Elliott wave, apply Elliott wave within MotiveWave, is we can use the scanner. So we pull up the scanner, and we can create a scan. So in this case, let's create a new scan. We're going to call it. Now there's different type of scanners. I'm only going to cover these two today. Again, time constraints, but the principle applies the same to a study. You can actually look for certain criteria within a study and pull back some results. Okay, so we're going to pick Elliott Wave for this one. You could either do a single symbol or you can select a watch list. In this case, I'm going to select a watch list. Let me try, actually. Yeah, let me try NASDAQ. Next. I'm going to add some time frames, some bar sizes to look. And we should get some hits, hopefully. And maybe we'll put a daily on there. Okay, next. We'll check for a wave 2. Finish. So let me close this one up here. We'll run the scanner, and hopefully we'll get some hits. And we do. Now what MotiveWave will do is it'll go through the watch list. You can import your watch list, or you can create your own watch list, and then select that as a basis for the scan. MotiveWave will then go through the list. It will use its algorithm to see how well it performs according to the rules and guidelines. It'll then score it, and then it'll list its results in this table here. So we're almost done. We have quite a few hits here. Almost there. Okay, the scan's complete. Now we can list the results by score, by pattern. In this case, since they're all wave 2, the patterns are all going to be the same. But if I want to look at a particular time frame, maybe perhaps I'm trying to time an entry, I might want to go with a lower time frame. So let's just try listing by score. We have an excellent hit here on Amazon on the 5-minute. We can then bring up the chart, and then MotiveWave will show its results according to what your scan criteria was. And there's other ones here as well. Okay, so it's a very powerful tool. Here's the wave 2 here. In finding, really automating and cutting down the time and looking for opportunity. To try to do this manually or with software that's not specific to it. Many software platforms claim to be Elliott Wave, but really what they are is just manual drawing tools. They don't go to this extent, or they'll charge you some outrageous monthly fee in order to do that, ongoing fee. And we don't have that. Okay, so let's go back to, let's try the Gartley, or the harmonic rather. So just like the Elliott Wave functionality, MotiveWave really excels also in picking up harmonic patterns. And this too as well. If try to do this as a manual process, you'll lose opportunity. It's very time consuming. So in this case, we also have a study called the harmonic study. And I apologize for my squeaky chair, by the way. So let's pull up the harmonic study. Okay, you can pick your harmonic shape that you're looking for. In this case, we're going to look for them all. And we're going to, again, you can either use a date or you can look at bar look back period. We're going to use the defaults. We're going to create. And MotiveWave at this point in time has found a potential Gartley or a Gartley in progress. Whether or not this comes to pass, nobody knows. That's just trading. It could take off and it's no longer Gartley. It can become something else or become nothing at all. But in this case, MotiveWave is stating, according to the rules of the Gartley pattern, I am picking something up here that is so far up to this point following suit, and it's something that perhaps you should keep an eye on. Okay, so that's very powerful. It'll show you just the current pattern, the ones in progress. The ones that are done, you're not going to see them because they're done. So this one at the moment right now is in progress. Now, just as we use a scanner for Elliott Wave, we can create a scanner based on Gartley. So we can call this Gartley scanner. Choose a symbol. We're going to choose, let's try the NASDAQ again. And maybe this time I won't add as many time frames. And hopefully we get a hit. Maybe I'll do 1 hour. Finish. Let's run the scanner. And we're getting some hits here. Okay, so these are all the patterns that have been found. So we can, again, arrange by pattern or arrange by score. So let's take a look at score. So we have some excellent patterns in progress here. We have a shark on, I believe this is Costco. Let's just compress the chart. So here's one that's potential. It's in progress. And being this is a daily chart, it'd probably take a while to if it does keep being bearish, to come to pass. But again, these is all about looking opportunities. And then there's another one on Lulu. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, this one as well. Okay, so that's the Elliott wave and harmonic pattern functionality of MotiveWave. Now, again, there is some more within that Elliott wave that can be done, as well as harmonic. Again, due to time constraints, I just wanted to show you what a great and fantastic feature those two are. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, chart management. There are pre-configured layouts that can be changed with a few clicks. There's a docking framework in MotiveWave which allows for easy arrangement of charts and panels along a custom layout. And then there's also pages and desktops that allow for grouping of charts, saving screen real estate and efficient use of multiple monitors. So let us go back. I'm going to go back to our home page here. Let's just remove this. Okay, so many software packages, they either have a fixed layout, or if you try to mess around with things, and take quite a while um, to get used to. And again, I'm not, some of these systems have been around for a while, and being that they're legacy systems, it's not always easy to bring things up to date, or it can be very expensive. MotiveWave from the beginning was designed, was Java in mind, being that Java's been around quite a while, and if anything, it's probably more popular now than it was before. And this allows us great flexibility to keep the technology fresh and to keep the new functionality, especially UI enhancements, readily available to incorporate in the software design. So with the chart management, we have some pre-configured layouts. These are the ones that we found most popular with our users. And we always communicate with our users for feedback, and we take it seriously. And what you're actually seeing here is a lot of feedback from our users incorporated into the platform. So these are the most requested type of layouts. If you wanted 2 charts up, it's that simple. You now have 2 charts up. If you wanted 4 charts, 4 charts. If you wanted a watch list along with your charts, you have a watch list. Or in this case, buy sell boxes, but if you switch that over, it's now a watch list. So these are some of the pre-configured layouts. Now it depends, there's different layouts for different pages. I'll get into pages in a moment. Now let's say, let me go back to the default here. Let's say you want to have something set up, but it's not quite what you see in a layout. You have something a bit more specific. MotiveWave has a docking framework, and what that means is you can left click on any of these tabs, and as you click, you'll have a shaded area. This shaded area designates the new position of where that panel will be placed. In this case, chart. So if I would like this to the right, I can let go, and now I have the 2 charts. I can turn off this trade panel, this trade panel. If I wanted a watch list alongside, I can then drag to the right, let go, and I now have my watch list. I can resize this and make them any size I want. Also, along with the drag and drop framework, if you want a floating chart, it's very easy. If you want a floating chart, in this case of the euro dollar, you just click on the floating symbol and your chart is here. You can open it up again. It's just been placed in the back. And you can float this to another monitor if you wish, or just tile it on your present monitor. And speaking of other monitors, MotiveWave, through the use of pages and desktops, takes advantage of all the available screen real estate. So what that means is you could perhaps work with a less monitors. Actually makes it more efficient switching between setups. And I'll show you that in a moment. For instance, if I want to create a page and I'm looking at equities and I'm looking at, let's say, FX in this case. If I just wanted a setup where I want to take a look at, for instance, let me click here and call this page USD pairs. And I just want to take a look at perhaps 4 pairs of USD crosses. I now have a page dedicated to that. So I can flip, actually I can arrange these any way I want. I can put it here if I want and just flip between, I can make this all equities if I wanted to and just flip between dollar pairs and equities without having to fumble between monitors, charts, and all that. Um, Another thing too is that we have something called desktops, and that's fantastic as well. For instance, you can create a new desktop, call it monitor 2, and you have a self-contained desktop or window here that you can place on a second monitor, and within that window you can have your own pages and your other setups that you want as far as chart layout. So there's a lot of functionality there in chart management. It's fantastic. People love it. I like it myself, to be quite honest. I find myself, I'm down to 3 monitors, and that's more than enough for me. And this helps a lot, especially in a situation where I want to flip between, asset classes. I just one click and I'm done. Okay, so let's take a look at some other features. So studies and strategies. MotiveWave has over 275 studies and 30 strategies, of which you will not find in other platforms. The studies are quite comprehensive, um, and they're easy to access, and I'll show you that in a moment. Also, using our studies, you can create templates for easy grouping and application of the studies, and you can also write custom studies and strategies in Java via our Java SDK. Now, if you're not a programmer, not a problem. We can always refer you to a programmer who can do it for you. Or if you've done quite enough scripting and you're not quite familiar with Java, we can provide you with the code to any of the studies, with the exception of any proprietary stuff such as the Elliott wave and the harmonic. And you can see how that particular study has been implemented. And after taking a look at some of the code for quite a few studies, you'll get to see um, how to code your own studies. As well, we have a comprehensive SDK guide available on our website. Okay, so the programming guide. We also have some examples via studies. We have the online Java API documentation. And when you're going through the code, you can then refer to this and see how it's been implemented. So let's hop over to the platform. I'm going to just close this one up. Okay, I'm going to go back here. And let's just keep this clean for now. Okay, so studies. All studies can be accessed via the study menu. You can, for your convenience, there have been some groups already populated here for you. If you find, once you get familiar with MotiveWave, you may find yourself very quickly heading over to these groups. Or you can just click on Add Study. If you know the name, just start typing it in. So, SMA, for instance, it'll show up. If you want to see all the available studies, you can even try just doing alphabetically. A, you have all your hits with A, all your hits with B, C, and so forth, right up to the letter Z. So in this case, we're going to go with a simple moving average. I'll just do the simple. Again, this is a high-level overview. I don't want to get into too much detail because the clock is ticking here. So here we can set parameters. I'm going to go with defaults. The parameters such as changing colors, width, displaying lines, periods, and stuff like that. Okay, so we have a line set there. Now we can also put, let's say we want to put a MACD on there. Okay, in this case, we're going to have it as a new graph, so it will be plotted underneath the chart. We can turn this navigation off for now. We don't need it. Now I can make this as a template. For instance, if I find that I'm always going to use these all the time, I can save this as a template. And I can call this whatever, my template. Save it. Head on over, let's say, to another chart, and then simply apply the template. Okay. Now, if you're going to use this all the time, you can also do what's called log studies. And you click log studies. And then if I were to change this to, for instance, dollar CAD, I don't even have to pull up the template. I can simply just pull up the chart and it'll lock it into place. Again, a lot of time has been taken, and a lot of research has been taken into designing the interface, especially feedback from our customers. We were in beta for quite a while, just to make sure everything was, um, the feedback came back as we expected it to. And we've made a lot of tweaks and updates since then. This new version 5, which came out, was released in end of December of 2016. So it's 6 months. We had version 4 on that, which was also based on Java, but we've implemented JavaFX since then, as previously mentioned, to take advantage of all the UI enhancements. Okay, let's move on. Actually, before I do that, I almost forgot to show you here some strategies. Same thing with strategies. You can either go through the pre-configured groupings, or you can start, just flipping through them. For instance, an MA cross strategy here. But before I do that, let me take off, or else I'll be too busy. I can do MA cross, for instance. And now I can activate the strategy. And once it's activated, as the parameters or conditions are met, trades will be triggered. I'm not going to activate it here. I will show you that in a later slide. But that's the whole idea with strategies. Again, the code is available for you. The strategies are there. All those strategies are there for you to try and get a feel of how things work within MotiveWave, and also to provide you with some code so that when you want to create your own strategies, you have a reference point. Okay, so I'm just going to take that off. Okay, let's hop on over to trading from charts. So trading from charts, this is another great feature um, in which we really want to facilitate using the platform for trading through your broker. And we try to make it as easy as possible. So there's quite a number of ways to trade from charts. I'm just going to go through them quickly, and then I will show you just some quick examples. So here are some of the many ways. There's a price axis. You can simply right click on the price axis and place a trade directly from there. Just select the order type. You can do it from the trade panel, which is displayed at the right hand of the chart. I will show you that in a moment. You can do it from the DOM, um, which also has some buy and sell buttons, and you can also activate strategies there as well. And then we have something called entry and exit strategies, which provide a convenient way to place combinations of orders in a single click. The entry exit section can be found on the trade panel. So let's go through this. So here's the price axis. Here's will be the first way. You can just simply, as you hover over the price axis, you'll notice that the icon changes to a target. In this case, you may not see it. I'm not sure if you see it on the screen, but the actual target says LMT, which means limit. Now there's some modifier keys, such as the control key, which will change that to a stop. You can also hit some other modifier keys to change that to, for instance, to market. And that can be configurable within MotiveWave. So it's just a matter of just left clicking. If you want to put, let's say in this case, a sell limit order, you click. T is for transmit, D is for discard, and you can simply transmit and your order is placed. Now, the other beauty of MotiveWave with the docking framework is that instead of flipping between your account and see what's happening, you can actually bring up a position table here. And again, this is where customization comes in, fairly easy. You can also bring up a order table so that when you're placing trades, and you can see your positions as things are going, and you can also take a look at your orders. So in this case, if I cancel this order, the order is no longer there. Okay, and if I want to close this position, I can click close, and the position is closed. Okay, you can also right click on the price axis from the trade. You can pick here the trade menu, just pick which type of order you want. OCO orders are also available. If they're not available with your broker, MotiveWave will try to simulate it. And what MotiveWave will do, as long as MotiveWave is running, is as one order gets filled or triggered, the other one will get canceled. Okay, then there's a trade panel. Trade panel, you can get into market right away through the position tab. You just click and you're in. Okay, you can flatten all positions. Okay, you can place an order. Let's say you want to go with a limit, a buy limit. You pick a limit, you submit it, it shows in your order, and then you can simply move the orders around to wherever you'd like. Nice and simple. Okay, and then you cancel the order is gone. If the order gets filled, it's no longer here, and then it becomes a position and it will show in here. Okay, we've also given the convenience of bid and ask buttons, so you can take a look at price. If there's a particular price you have in mind to trigger, you can then go ahead and click buy or sell. Okay, on here, if you have multiple accounts, as such in this case, you can pick which account you would like the trade to go to, and it will show, it'll be routed to that account. Okay, now another thing that we can do is, I was mentioning strategies, and entry and exit strategies are available here. There are some that have already come with the platform. You can feel free to edit any of these just to get an idea. Again, this is beyond the scope of this presentation. Again, this is high level. I just want to give you guys an overview of the features. In this case, we're going to have two entry orders. One's they're going to be an OCO. So what happens is, let's just remove this. Let's remove filled orders. Essentially, this becomes like a bracket entry order. So whichever gets taken in first, the other one will be canceled. As you can see, they're part of the same group. So if any of these are canceled because of the same color, the other one will be canceled as well. So if this is taken in, this will be canceled. This is taken in, this will be canceled. Okay, and if I cancel one of them, they should both go away, and they do. Okay, so that's entry and exit strategies. You can create your own. Again, that's for another time. Let's move on. How are we doing for time? Okay, 5:12. Let's go. Okay, replay mode. Another fantastic feature. This enables you to go back in time and replay market data, allowing you to fine-tune and hone your market analysis and trading skills. Can be used on a single or multiple time frames. Can be used to test custom studies or strategies. So let's hop over and take a look at replay mode. So with replay mode, for instance, let's bring up the dollar yen. Let's remove any of the studies here. So to activate replay mode, you can click either on the replay mode icon, or you can go view, replay mode. Okay, I'm just going to click on the icon. You have some initial configuration settings. What you'll see at the bottom once it's enabled, it almost looks like a media player here, where you have some play, fast forward, and rewind buttons, along with stop, power button. And here is a configuration. Now, again, there are many options in here. The main idea I want you guys to grasp out of here is that you can determine from here what speed you want it, whether you want real delay, whether you want it a specific delay. You can set up your cash balance, your initial cash balance that's in the simulated account. And also, you can also pick bar data now, source data. If your provider does not have tick data, you will not see it here, but you can generate it from the bar data or the minute data. And what that will do, that will take the open, high, low, and close and create 4 ticks. Okay, in this case, I do have tick data, so I don't need to generate it. I'll update it. Okay, now let's say I wanted to go back to this morning, something a bit earlier. So I can pick, for instance, since it's FX, I can pick 7 a.m. I can power up. Okay, and now you'll notice that, I'll just put my crosshairs here. Another great feature, by the way, are these crosshairs. So it's 7 a.m. in the morning, and I can play either tick by tick, which we can try here. And you'll notice price changing when the tick data changes. We can go bar by bar. Okay, or we can play all bars. I'm not going to play all bars because then I'll take us to the end and I'll have to start over again, but you can do that as well. Now you can also, again, using our layouts, pick 2 layouts, for instance, and let's just get rid of that. Okay, we can link these two. They may be already linked, but I'll do it just in case. And then you can set one, so they're both set for dollar yen. You could put this in a higher time frame, put this in a lower time frame. You can also Simply double click and you have a line. And I'm not sure, that might be the bid that I'm showing there, but I'm not sure. So let's play it back and let's go tick by tick, see what happens. So as you can see on the lower time frame, the 5-minute, it's coinciding with the 15-minute, tick by tick. And if I play next bar, I should get 3 bars for every 15-minute bar. And there we go. Do it again, 3 bars. Okay, so this is really helps in if you want to play price action, get a feeling for what's going on, place a study on there, see how a study reacts. Um, and having said that, you can also, going back to our strategy examples, you can pull up your MA cross strategy, place it on the chart. Let's go back in time, activate it, and now we can play, now tick by tick, that's going to take a long time. Let's try bar by bar. Anytime that moving average crosses, we should get a trade initiated. Not yet. Oh, it's close. Let's see. Yeah, I can speed it up. Hopefully it will trigger for the day. I only selected today. There's only a certain amount of 15-minute. No. So let me change this. Let me deactivate this. Let me go to 5-minute. Let me pick, that's fine. But what I'll do this time maybe is I'll just shorten the restrictions here. Now I can activate it. And now I should get something. Okay, we got a sell. And the strategy will show you the unrealized profit, total profit. Let's keep going, see if we can squeeze another one out. Okay, and then we got to buy. So you can use this to test a strategy, especially if they're on your own custom strategies, and it's a fantastic tool. So I'm going to deactivate that. Let's just clean this up. I'm going to remove all this, and let's move on to components and analysis. Okay, 517. I got some time here. Components and analysis. Many different types of components can be added to a chart as part of your analysis. Examples of components include trend lines, price labels, channels, commentary, Elliott waves, and markers. Components can be added to the chart from the components panel or by using the mouse tools. Multiple analysis allow for different views in the market. Analysis includes components, studies, time and price guides. So what are components? Components are essentially drawing tools. And why is this a top feature? Because MotiveWave has close to 200 of them built in. And you can create your own custom tools based on existing tools with your own custom configurations. I'll get that into later, but I just wanted to show you the breadth of the program and why it's such a great at getting things done, especially when technical analysis is concerned. So here we have some groupings here. Now with the Ultimate Edition, you have access to all of these. Some editions, later editions, for instance, if there's no Elliott Wave or Gartley or GAN, that won't be present, so you only have the basic. So basically the basic group is just a few cherry-picked studies from each one of these folders. Just excuse me for 1 second while I drink some water here. Okay, thank you. So let's go through some of these. I'm not going to go through all of them. Again, it would take too long. But just to get you an idea, what I want to impress upon you here with the components is the fact that, other than the fact that you can just simply drag and drop, is the fact that some of these, most of them, if not all of them, have their own properties which you can change. So for instance, if you prefer a different fill color, you can pick red. You can save that as a default, and from now moving forward, anytime you pick that tool, you're going to have red set. Okay, so that's very powerful, especially when it comes to customization. So let's take a look at some of these. So we got some price labels, which is pretty obvious. We have like a resistance zone, which you can label. Some more time labels, some lines, pretty straightforward. Line group here. So you have some horizontal lines, trend lines. We have some levels. We have work. Range, this is a great one too. Select the range and over what time, it'll tell you. Some more range tools. You also have some technical analysis tools here to annotate specific patterns, in this case, different types of wedges. You have some curve here, for instance, if you wanted to check the difference or the prices between these 2 points, you can do that. Extended lines, some shapes. Again, basic, I'm going to skip for now because anything in basic will be found everywhere else here. Let me clean this up. Just clean that up. We have some callouts, some annotations. For instance, you can put a note here, double click. This is a note. We also have comments. We have, again, some shapes if you want to highlight specific part of a chart. Again, some curve tools here, some arrows. Then we hop onto markers. For instance, you have triangles if you want to, I don't know, for instance, pick swing points. Arrows, again, some shapes, as well as access to numbers and letters. Onto Fibonacci. By the way, the Fibonacci tools available here in MotiveWave are quite extensive. We have the usual suspects, just extension, retrace. Then we have expansion. And then let me clean this up here. We also have circle. It keeps, again, I'm just going to cherry pick the ones I think stand out pretty quickly. Take that one out. We have Fibonacci box, which is a great one here. Fibonacci grid. Of course, we have time range, ratio timeline, and then we have Fibonacci based on Forex based on Fibonacci. Just going to clean that up. We have some GAN here for you GAN fans. We have PowerPoint. Just delete that. We have a cross square, rotatable square, some grid. Get rid of that. Angle-based components for drawing tools. 1 times 2. Of course, we have the popular fan here. Retracement based on GAN levels. We have range based on GAN levels. And of course, what's range without time? GAN box and ratio grid. Okay. Elliott wave. This was another way of, when I did the Elliott wave section, I saved this for now just to show you. So if you're one of those who prefer, again, to plot it manually, you can do that with Elliott wave. You can, if you impulse, again, what you'll see with MotiveWave, because those rules and guidelines are built right in, it will flag you if you are perhaps violating a guideline or breaking a rule. Let's see if I can break a rule here. If I bring 4 into 1, I should get flagged. And I do, I'm breaking a rule. So you can go ahead and then take these points and then put them where you feel they should go in order to either be an impulse, corrective mood, or what have you. Okay, and there's quite a few here. So you have impulse, you got some diagonals in there, you have corrections, and some more down here. Okay, so there's lots there. Moving on to Gartley, these are the harmonic patterns we were talking about. You can simply, it'll show you all the ratios, which you don't even have to refer to another website. All the information's right there. Just go there. Plot, and I can go on and on and on. But you get the idea, AB equals CD, which is a popular one. Okay. So that's the components. Now I want to quickly touch upon analysis. So the good thing about MotiveWave, another great feature, is the analysis. We kind of implemented, I've only seen a few other platforms implement some form of it. However, the way we implement it is pretty unique. We've had a lot of feedback in regards to that. And with the analysis, what that allows you to do, for instance, is you don't necessarily want cluttered charts, right? You start putting some fibs on there, some trend lines, some notes. All of a sudden, now your chart's all cluttered, and it's like, okay, usually have to compromise and say, okay, let me get rid of some of that, or let me take a screenshot, save the screenshot, and then start over. With MotiveWave, you don't have to do that. You can actually have, for instance, in this case, a naked chart, and then if you wanted one based on, let's say, fibs, you can create another analysis, call it Fibonacci, based on empty. And now here, I can start drawing some fibs. By the way, some of the components are available here for easy access. Okay, so if I wanted to do, for instance, retracement, where's retracement? Here we go. Let's say I just wanted to do this. Okay, and then let's say I want to do it again for whatever reason, maybe look for some overlap. Okay, and then I said, you know what? I really want to draw some trend lines in there, but I'm not going to see them. They're going to get lost. I can go ahead and then create one and call it trend lines. Empty. And then I can go ahead and just plot some trend lines. Well, that's what I wanted to do, depending how you define your trend lines, low to low. And then you could pick another line, for instance, here. So now I have 3 different views of the same symbol. You know, I have the trend lines, I have Fibonacci, and then I have a naked chart. So that's another great way to efficient way of using analysis within MotiveWave. And then of course you can always save all so you don't lose any of your work. Actually, you know what? I'm going to discard it because we won't be needing it. Okay, and the last thing I want to touch upon is customization. From theme colors down to time frames, MotiveWave offers a great deal of customization. Customizing the interface is very easy and intuitive using menus. Customization settings can apply globally to the whole platform or to an individual chart. The ability to create custom components and keyboard shortcuts allow quick and easy access to a trader's most used functions. So let's go through some of this. I'm going to go, let's just exit this. As a matter of fact, let me reset everything here. Okay, so let's say you don't like the colors and you want to change the colors. You can go on to configure preferences, theme, and then if you prefer something light, you can go light, apply it, you have a light background. Now each theme consists of bar themes and chart themes, and they're designated as part of dark or light. So in this case, anything available under chart theme here would be available here. It pulls it from here, which means you can create your own. So if I wanted to, my theme, my chart theme, and I wanted, I don't know, something a little bit more creative for whatever reason, dark. And actually, let me edit that, make that part of the dark theme. And a bar theme, maybe something a little bit more playful. And I'll make that part of the dark, and instead of, up, maybe I'll use yellow. And then for down, maybe purple. Okay, you can go ahead in here and select your dark, apply, and now you'll notice that my bar theme becomes available, and my chart theme actually becomes available. If I hit apply, bar theme here, apply. I'm gonna get the colors that I picked. So I'm gonna have this gray with my yellow and my purple. Now this is gonna apply globally. So, which means if I pull up this chart, it's gonna apply here. But I can, for instance, right click on this specific chart. And if I just wanted specific things with this chart, I can go ahead and then make the changes. So for instance, if I wanted light theme on there, and this one I'm just going to stick with the red and blue. Now this chart will always be different because it has local settings, which override. Okay, so we've hit 1 hour now. We're almost done. Bear with me. Thank you for hanging in there. We got about maybe 5 minutes left. So now any other chart that I open up, is going to use, this one is already done before. Let me try. Did I do this one here? Dollar yen. Yeah, so dollar yen is going to use the global settings. Okay, because we got purple there. So let me change this back really quickly. Go over to theme. And change this back to what it was. Like my red and blue. Red and blue, hit apply. Okay. And my local ones probably will not change, and they don't. Okay, good. Which is what's supposed to happen. So now let me just show you really quickly how we can customize a few things. We can customize, for instance, if we go configure, preferences, we head on over to keyboard. We can set our own keyboard defaults. For instance, when placing trades, we can actually select shortcuts for trade, like buy at market, buy market stop. And this this allows you to take advantage of opportunities. If you want to get in right away, you put a keyboard shortcut, no clicking, no fumbling around. You click your shortcut, bang. So in this case, let's just say for an example, I want to add one, and let's say for add strategy, I'm going to edit, and I'm going to do, let's say Alt S. I click OK. I click apply. OK. Alt S, and the strategy pops up. Okay. Configure preferences. And we can, for instance, go over to chart and the components panel. So here, these are all the component groups that we had listed before, but I can actually make my own group, and I can hide any of these that I don't use. So for instance, if there's 5 tools that I always use, I can put them in something called my group. Let's just try something really quick here. Down line, and let's see, I'm going to make that red. Okay, and then I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to call this one upline. And let's say I'm going to make that green. It's fine. I hit OK. So now these are my 2 custom components that I've created. And I can actually have as many here as I want. And then if I wanted to, I can create, for instance, my components, let's just say. And then here I should be able to see the 2 that I created. Here, here, click OK, click apply. I hit OK, and I view my components. Here are my components. So I don't even have to fumble with anything. I can just, here's my red one, here's my green one. And I can go in here, and to make things even simpler if I wanted to, again, really quick, I can hide some of these. So if I don't want to use, let's say, this one, should be able to hide them. I think if you right click, you can hide them. Let's say I hide those 2, apply, they no longer show. So again, efficiency, getting rid of clutter, and most importantly, usability. And then of course you can always, with the toolbar, you can, different toolbars as well, depending how you like to work. Some people like the toolbar at the top, some like the toolbar on the left. Apply, here it is on the left. Some people like it on the right. Again, we have it on the right. So I have all these toolbars versus the top. You can then enable it, and now you can add anything you want. So this layout here is essentially the toolbar that's available now, which is not showing, but this is the order for it. So I can, for instance, separator, maybe, I don't know, put a strategy in there, add a strategy, click apply, click OK, and now my strategy should be here, and here it is. If I click on that, I can add a strategy. So there's much customization that you can do, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate in contacting me at support@motivewave.com. That concludes the webinar. I thank you very much for your time and patience with me today. And what we have right now is there's a 14-day free trial. If you'd like to try MotiveWave, visit this link here. I'll put it in the chat window. And basically, they are offering now 20% discount on the Ultimate Edition only. I do recommend that if it's something you want to try, again, there's no obligation. There's a 14-day free trial. Along with that trial, you can also have a trial to one of our data providers for free, which is IQ Feed for 14 days. It'll be delayed, but you can get started just trying it for free. It won't cost you a penny. You can also, if you want, email me at support@motivewave.com if you trade futures. I can send you a link to have a free CQG feed for 14 days. And so let's go over to there. I'll just show you what to do. If you have any questions regarding technical questions, please reach out to me. My name is Joe, support@motivewave.com. If there are any sales related questions, please feel free to contact sales@motivewave.com. And let's head on over to the link. And here's the link. So what you would do is you would register here. You'll then get an email. It'll send you a license key. You download it. You'll go ahead and try it. And then if you decide to purchase it within the time period, it's just a matter of going online, making the purchase. And you don't need a new license key or anything. It'll automatically get activated and you'll be all set to go. Okay, so again, I know it's just a bit over an hour. Did you guys have any questions at all? It seems that maybe some of them have been answered. Any questions? I see one coming in. Thank you, Eric, for having us. Sure, the email, actually, let me give you this link. So the email for me is support@motivewave.com. For sales related questions, sales@motivewave.com. And the link for the trial is here. Okay, so thank you once again. The recording will be made available. I know Cyber Trading will be sending out an email, and we'll keep in touch. Any questions? Oh, I have another question coming in, and then one more. Yep, you guys can see the link in the chat. Yep. Thank you so much, Dana, and thank all of you. And enjoy your day. Have a wonderful evening. Bye now.